Albo and Andrews don't mention it, but this forest of windmills will take up a massive 147 square kilometres of ocean. And that's just the start of it. According to the state's proposal, more windmills will be added, enough to generate 15 gigawatts, taking up 900 square kilometres of ocean. The timing of their joint press conference yesterday was so convenient and so earnest in its promise to save the Earth from a climate catastrophe that they simply forgot how obnoxiously offensive they were being. Albo flew down to Victoria, not on a solar-powered plane, of course, to announce this plan just 5 weeks out from a state election. That's him using your money to prop up his mate, Premier Dan Andrews, who is so on the nose even in his own electorate that he doesn't dare appear on the street for more than a couple of minutes, lest he cops a well-earned spray or worse from someone who has lost everything in arguably the most pointless lockdown of citizens in world history. Andrews' slogan then, during the lockdown, was "Staying apart keeps us together," which, if he wins the forthcoming state Victorian election, will be replaced by "Expensive, unreliable energy keeps us warm." The whole press conference yesterday was predicated on the lie that renewables can produce energy cheaper than coal, gas or, heaven forbid, uranium. And it produces jobs. Andrews said, quote, "Victoria has cut emissions by more than any other state, tripled the amount of renewable energy and created thousands of jobs. We're not just talking about climate action, we're getting on with it." He's getting on with it all right. By next winter, Victorians will be facing a similar catastrophe as Europe is now, where a lack of energy produced by fossil fuels is forcing people to chop down trees to stay warm. In Britain, Prime Minister Liz Truss has been forced to reduce the £150 billion she set aside to subsidise domestic power bills this winter, part of an economic plan so unrealistic that it might make her prime ministership the shortest in British history. Meanwhile, Britain sits on enough shale gas to produce about a fifth of its domestic consumption. Victoria is in the same situation. It sits on an abundance of shale and natural gas as well, while the Premier, Dan Andrews, bans people from connecting their homes to the gas network and forces the state to adopt wind and solar. Albo and Dan Andrews have gone so far down the renewable rabbit hole that all we can see is their furry tails disappearing into the darkness. Anybody who follows them into that abyss is dead set bonkers.